Rachel, and today I'm going to show you how to make chocolate chip cookies. Some of the ingredients that you will need is 2 cups and 1/4 of flour. You'll need a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla, 2 eggs, 3/4 cup of sugar, 3/4 cup of brown sugar, and 1 cup of shortening, and 2/3 cup of chocolate chips. But if you like more chocolate chips in your cookies, then you can add it however much you want. A couple more items that you will need is 1 bowl for mixing and 1 bowl to put your flour, salt, and baking soda in. And you'll also need cooking pans to place the cookie balls on, place in the oven, and then when the cookies come out, you'll place them on a drying rack. The first step that I like to take is starting with my flour, baking soda, and salt. First, you take 1 cup of flour. You have to level it out on the measuring cup. Pour it into this tub. Take another cup, level it out. And then you'll need 1/4 cup left after those 2 cups. Making that to be 2 1/4 cup of flour. You'll take 1 teaspoon of baking soda, pour it in there, and then you'll take 1 teaspoon of salt, pour it in there. The next step that I like to take is the sugar. You'll need 3/4 cup of sugar. Make sure you level it out. Pour it into the bowl. Make sure you don't have any chunks. Next step is 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Make sure that it's leveled out in the cup. I'll need to add a little bit more. Alright. Pour it into the bowl. The next step you take is measuring out 1 full cup of shortening. It's messy, so be careful. You have to scoop the shortening out into another glass jar. Make sure you scrape out all the sides and make sure it gets all inside the glass jar. It has to go into the glass jar because you're going to heat it up. It will melt it, and you can't melt it while it's in the plastic cup, otherwise it'll melt the plastic cup. After getting all of your shortening inside the glass jar, you'll take it over to the microwave, put it in there. Another item you need is a spatula for stirring. While the shortening is melting, you'll take your spatula and you're going to mix your brown sugar with your sugar and make sure that there are no clumps. You want it to be completely mixed together. Like this. When the shortening's done, you'll take it out of the microwave, and it'll look something like this. And you'll take it over to your sugar, and you're going to pour it all over the top of it, and you're going to use a clean spatula and scrape the sides of the jar and make sure it's all in the sugar. When that's done, you'll take your eggs and you're going to crack them inside the jar. There's one. Make sure there's no eggshells in there, and you'll pour it in. Take the other one, crack it. Make sure there's no eggshells, pour it in again. You'll take your spoon and you'll stir it. Don't stir it completely because you'll want to add your teaspoon of vanilla. Continue to stir and make sure it's blended completely. When it's completely mixed, it should look something like this. After mixing that all together, you're going to start to pour in your flour mixture with the baking soda and salt. Pour in very slowly so you don't have to pick up messy flour all over your counter. You're going to have to slowly turn this and stir it. It starts to thicken up as you add more flour mixture into this. So if it starts to get too thick and your arm gets tired, make sure you wash your hands, and then you can go ahead and take your hands and just go ahead and mix it. But I'm going to keep stirring until I think that I'm tired enough. The next step is adding the chocolate chips. Make sure that your dough looks like this. Make sure it's scraped off all the sides, and it's going to be all stuck together like this. So you can actually pick it up and nothing will fall off. You can take your chocolate chip bag, and I know I said that it's 2/3 cup, but I like a lot of chocolate chip cookies, so I'm going to go ahead and pour half the bag into my chocolate chip batter, chocolate cookie dough batter. And then you're going to take it and you're going to mix it up a bunch. Make sure that all the chocolate chips are sticking to the dough. If you have to press down. So this spot needs more chocolate chips, so I'm going to add more. Next, you'll want to heat your oven up to 375 degrees. Now it's time to start making the cookie balls. You'll take a chunk about this big, and you're just going to squeeze it in your hands and roll it. And it should be about this big, and you'll place it on your cookie sheet. Continue that for however many times cookies can fit on this. Next, you want to set your timer for 8 minutes. When your timer goes off, open the oven. Make sure they're good. If they're a little brown around the edges, that means they're good to go. And you'll put it on the stove to cool off. And then you'll take your other tray that you've made and stick it into the oven. The next step you'll want to take is when the cookies are just a little bit cooled off, you're going to take your spatula, slide it right underneath the cookie, and place it on your cooling rack. And you're going to do that for each cookie on your pan. You're good. When the cookies are finally done cooling, you'll get the chance to eat them.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Hey Nick, wanna try my cookies?
They're great.
Now I showed you the step-by-step process of how to make chocolate chip cookies. Now you get to enjoy a wonderful cookie as well.